This is going to be a little bit weird, but I feel like this is the only solution. A few days ago, I streamed the Choker Cup, my match against Raffael Santos of Brazil, and I made the terrible mistake of forgetting to set up my audio beforehand. So the first few minutes of the stream is muted. So I thought what I would do is kind of rewatch the beginning of the stream, offer some commentary, and then once I did manage to turn back the sound, then I'll leave it as is, and then people can get a full picture of what happened in the match. So anyway, I'm gonna leave the video playing, but yeah, for those confused, this is my past self. This is my present self. If you're watching this in the future, which is probably guaranteed, both of these are my past selves. But I don't want to confuse you more. So I should maybe talk about what the details were for the match. This is the 2020 Choker Cup. It's a bracket format. Every Thursday there's a match, and this was the semifinals. I played Raffael Santos, who's a very popular chess YouTuber. He has a very big channel in Portuguese. And in the first round of the Choker Cup, he defeated Anna Rudolph. So I knew going into it that it was going to be tough. And we play first to 3 clashes, which you'll see the clash score here. And this is the first clash. Now I should mention this whole event is sponsored by Choker. A little thing up here. Later on, when I'm not watching this on Twitch, it should be a bit more clear. But anyway, so this is the first hand. I was dealt 2 pawns, which is one of the weakest starting hands. And maybe for those not familiar with the rules, every game starts with a betting phase. If we both call through 3 rounds of betting, then we move on to the placement phase. Then after that is the chess phase. So this is actually one of the weakest 4-card hands, 2 pawns and 2 minor pieces. So I went ahead and folded, didn't want to risk a large percentage of my chips in the very beginning. Now there are cases where there's special rules, where there's promotions or demotions, which we will see later. And I'll share a link in the video description of the full rules to Choker. So this hand was a little bit better. Rook and pawn. And my opponent bet first, he checked. And I wanted to play aggressively. And I knew that if he checked, it was likely that he would have a weak hand. I was assuming he had like pawn-pawn or pawn-minor piece. So I raised and he folded, so this turned out to be a good play. I'll also mention that there was official commentary by International Master Malcolm Payne and Jeff Gross, who's a professional poker player. And I'll link that below too. It was on the Chess24 channel. They had both of our feeds and were offering their expert analysis. So this is another hand where I was not so happy with. I was a small blind. I didn't even want to mess with this. I just folded. So far, we, at least the first 3 hands, we did not make it out of the betting phase. I think this was a moment my chat was telling me there were audio issues. There was a 3-minute delay, so it was one of the downsides that chat couldn't alert me of technical problems. So I was trying to troubleshoot the audio while playing. Here I'm dealt 2 pawns. Now the thing about 2 pawns, I'm actually going to pause this just to explain. But if you're dealt a 3rd pawn, that's promoted to a rook. If you're dealt a 4th pawn, that's promoted to a queen. So in general, if you're dealt 2 pawns, you would like to see the next 2 cards. And I was a big blind here, so the action was on my opponent whether to call or raise or fold. My opponent called, and I was happy with that, so I went ahead and checked, which is, I think, the best play. And then I was dealt a 3rd pawn, so that was promoted to a rook. Then I got a knight as well. And then I was deciding whether to check or bet. Now, I'll also explain, just to pause again, in terms of valuing a hand, I like to think in terms of point value. So pawns are worth 1 point, rook is 5 points, and knight is 3 points. So this is a value of 13, which I think is slightly above average. Wait, did I do the math right? I didn't do the math right. This is a value of 10, which is probably slightly average, right? However, because I have 3 pawns and a knight, there's another special rule that if you're essentially dealt a full house, which is 3 of a kind plus 2 of a kind, the third piece of 3 of a kind gets promoted to a queen, which actually happened. So I'll go ahead and show. I did check, given that my hand is average, and then I got a knight. So just to show, because I had 2 knights and 3 pawns, even though one was a promoted pawn, the third pawn gets promoted to a queen. So I know it's a little bit complicated, but I will share the rules if people want to investigate. So there was some sound effects. I think this is here. Yeah, here this is where I fix the audio. So I think I'll leave it at that. And now you'll kind of see what happens in the placement phase and then the chess phase, the very first chess phase of the match. I hope you guys enjoy this. If you have questions, feel free to comment below. And my next match will be a week from this Thursday. So can I find the date? Alexa, what's a week from this Thursday?
Here's what I found on Week's Wikipedia page. A continuous 7-day cycle that runs throughout history without reference to the phases of the moon was first practiced in Judaism, dated to the 6th century BC at the latest author.
Just change something. So it should come through maybe in like 3 minutes. Let's bet. Let's just go all in. Make it seem like a bluff. Okay, this probably determines the first clash. Yeah, I'm sorry about the audio issues. But hopefully, if I put this on YouTube, the local recording should be okay. To do, let's play f6. So I'm black. I should play defensively. Knight on d8 or f8 or both. Oh, he has 2 knights too. That's interesting. Oh, but he could have a very strong hand here. Yeah, I'll put a knight on d8. Probably f7 or f8 is next. Worst case scenario, he has a queen. Which I can still, like, if he has a queen, I'm just down a rook. If he has another rook, then it's interesting. Please don't have a queen, please. Please have, like, a bishop or something. Okay, that's good. So the queen should be relatively strong. Let's place it on b7. Idea queen b4, queen h4 ideas. Board vision is very important. Thanks for all the support, guys. I see it. Anyway. Okay. Have a nice time advantage. Yeah, queen b4 should come. He could play rook g4. Rook g4, maybe f5. Like, the rooks aren't too powerful, even though he has a small battery. Like f5, and then I'll get some pawn chain. I'm trying to disconnect the rooks, too. Wise move. What to do? in this move. I want to bring the knight to d6. It's a weird square, but maybe e5 actually. Very important to keep the edge on the clock. King f7. Actually, knight g4 also interesting. Blocking the rook. At some point, like knight g6, e6, king f7. Play queen b4. That's probably not a great move. So he's going to have some checks. Not quite seeing what to do. Yeah, just preventing queen c8. Let's play queen b4 again. So I could play king f7 and be safe. Even like queen b1. Not sure though. Try queen b1. He checks me a few times. It should be okay. Okay, check. Oh wait, what am I doing? Losing focus. Let's try this. Moving way too slowly. What's my threat? Good position though. Yeah, so I'm winning d1. I'll start pre-moving. No! No! Oh man. I got forked. Is it better now? Is audio better? Audio's perfect. Okay, good. Oh, that's so tilting. How do I have more chips? I thought I was behind, but maybe not. Oh, because he's big blind. I mean, do I call 2K? I mean, if he bets, I guess I have to... Yeah, that was probably a bad... Maybe I should have raised? I don't know. He's kind of weak. Not a great hand. At least he'll give me information, though. He checks. I have to shove. I have, like... I guess I have an average hand. Okay. Okay, so I got 2 rooks, 2 pawns, and a bishop. He has more chips. Okay, time is important. I'm white, that's a good thing. Bishop probably wants to be on the dark square. Also, maybe c2 could be interesting. Okay, very possible he has a queen. Yeah, let's be safe. If he has a rook, then I'm just better. If he has queen, then I'm worse. He has a bishop. Wow, okay. So let's learn my lesson from the previous game. Time is relevant. Kind of allowing bishop c6 here. Bishop c6, rook b8. Yeah, this should be a pretty routine win. Because rook h8 is also an idea. Oh, he just resigns. Wow. Opponent doesn't have enough to make even the small blind. So that's clash 1 to me. Okay. I guess I'm happy. So we take a 2-minute break. Again, apologies. I know, like, with the delay, I can't address things in real time. Apologies for the audio issues earlier. I did change the audio source on my computer. I have to go back later and see what happened. So I'm going to exit. Just remove this for a moment. Let the app restart. So let me update the score too. Whew, okay, I have to take a deep breath. Man, so reflecting on that, the first clash, I think I've made maybe one bad bet, but I feel good about, like, getting a sense of how strong or weak he is, depending on whether he's checking or betting. I think he's not being tricky in any way in the betting phase, which I think is probably best, probably good to just check the weak hands and bet the weak hands most often. Let me re-enable this. But that first, man, I should have won that one game. Had the time advantage. I was moving way too slowly. Okay. So it's the first to 3. That's also something which I guess is important to note. That should be explained, though. Yeah, first to 3 clashes. So that was the first clash. These go by pretty quickly because the blinds raise. The blinds raise very rapidly. Like, we only start with 10. We start with 10 big blinds, and every game the blind increases by, I think, 50%. Or no, it increases by like 500 or something. Castling is legal. Addressing a question probably from a while ago, but yeah, if either side puts a rook in the corner, castling is legal. So there's not too many cases where it will be relevant, but it is, I guess, a decent rule to be aware of. Oh, okay. Oh, we need to keep time. So let's send another challenge. Okay. So the thing about Raffael, he's very fast. Which I guess I realized in this first clash. I guess I learned a lesson, but didn't suffer a loss in the first clash, which is good. Okay, I'm white. Okay. I've not been getting the best hands. I'm just gonna fold. When I fold hands like this, and then, like, when I have stronger hands, or just like when I fold and then bet later, it will make my bets seem stronger. So it's important to kind of understand how I'm representing myself. And I mean, if he bets, I just fold, I think. He calls. Okay, so I'm gonna check. 2 pawns, it's it looks really weak, but it could promote into something strong. Okay, beautiful. Ooh. So this is like average value, actually. It's 12 points. If he makes like a small bet, I don't know. I think I should call. I'm curious what happens if I get another pawn, if that promotes to a queen. No, if I get another pawn, then it promotes to a queen. So odds of getting a queen, that's like the worst card. If he shoves, I don't know what to do. I mean, he's definitely stronger. I think I just fold. Yeah. Because that was just an average hand. If he's shoving there, he's definitely above average. I think I'm better off. Okay, so I have... if I double up, then we're back on even terms. Not sure if that was the best play, but... may have been too conservative. So I'm basically pot committed. I'm just going to shove. But I think my chances are better like here than previously if I called that. I don't know though. Ooh, please queen. Ooh, if I got a queen, it would have been the amazing hand. So this is just, yeah, this is not a great hand. I'll probably employ a very safe setup. I'm probably going to lose this though. Yeah. We'll see what he has though. I feel like best case scenario, I'm probably like down the exchange. What's the value of this? 2 plus 6 plus 5. Oh, that's terrible. But he's also playing very safe. What is this bishop? Bishop is usually not great on d8. Probably gonna, I don't know. Oh, he's playing very safe. So he could be weak. We're both playing really safe. Oh, if he has a queen, then I'm just dead. Which might be the case. I'm not going to resign, though. I have to get as much time in this phase as possible. Oh, he has bishop. Okay. I mean, this is probably a scenario where I want a castle. I put my bishop on a dark square because my pawns are on light squares. Complements the pawns better. Please have, like, a pawn. Oh, he has a rook. Okay. So I'm down a piece for a pawn, which is not great. But I'll try and fight. Like, if we trade off, if I get the pawns traded, then maybe it's not so bad. Actually, king f... I don't know, king f2. Your rook h5. Interesting square for the rook. Oh my god. Oh, I didn't blunder. For some reason, I thought I allowed a bishop b4. Okay, so this is okay, I think. Bishop restricts the knight. Let me move my rook back. So I want to trade pawns. I don't want to trade minor pieces. Rook is just dancing all over the board. The rook is now active. I am preventing bishop b5 though, which is nice. Provoking bishop c6. Probably just move back. Actually, let's play rook b6. Bishop c4 coming. It's not pleasant. Yeah, let's trade rooks. Not what I wanted, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Oh, he doesn't trade. Interesting. Probably a good move. I'm just chilling. Okay, this is what I needed. I don't know if I'm... There's bishop a6, unfortunately. Please miss it. Yeah. Probably have to take, and then knight c3. Actually, king f1 first, just to prevent trades. This is just pure torture. Thing is, I can move around and make him prove something. Okay, this is what I want. Let's not blunder. Knight g4, attacking the pawn. Bishop c2 coming, or bishop c7. Let's go, winning the pawn. It's going to come down to time, though. Like, now I'm going for the win, going for the flag. Not good to allow. That's not good to allow. Dirty flag, let's go. Okay, if I can win that, then it gives me confidence. Wow, what a game. Okay, so it paid off. It paid off. I'm the chip leader. Blinds are increasing by a ton. Yeah, so I'm big blind. Oh, that's what I like to see. If he... Yeah, we'll see what he wants to do. If he calls, then I'd probably shove. Okay, he folds. That's a lot of chips. Oh, I guess I just won 1.5k, but it's still good. So I'm white. I'm going to be small blind. Blind's increasing so much. Yeah, 2k small blind. That's crazy. I think I just shove here. Statistically, he has an equal or worse hand. So, yeah. Okay. Hey, let's go. Let's go. Okay, good hand. Very much above average. What's the value? Value is 19. Average is 15. So, I mean, I always have to be prepared for the worst case scenario. I'm sticking with the setup. Maybe I should mix it up, being very predictable. But I guess this is a safe setup. So worst case scenario, I'm not like losing. Oh, was that a demoted pawn? I think that was a demoted pawn. Put the rook here. Interesting. Yeah, I'm just gonna chill with the bishop. Again, pawns on light squares, bishop on dark square is a good combination. And now for the majesty. And queen on a2 looks decent. Have the nice long diagonal, access to g8 and a8. Oh, he has a queen too. Okay, so I'm only up the exchange. Not a bad situation, just a castle. Knights are tricky. I do have I have some like holes on the dark squares, but the bishop helps remedy that. Play rook b1. Again, have to be conscientious of time. Queen a8. Queen a8, queen e4. Looks decent. I think the bishop wants to be on e3. Also, this knight on f8 is very restricted. Basically tied down to h7. If knight c5, I might just take it. Plays knight e5. Okay, so there's some rook c1 idea, bishop h6 ideas, rook b7 ideas too. Let's start with rook c1. Be very tricky, or very careful of the tricky knights. This move. Important to identify the weaknesses. e7 is very much potential weakness. I think I want to play f4. A decent looking idea. Some queen a1 check, I have king g2. Interesting. That defends. Let's throw in a check. I have to save the bishop. This move. I just want to trade off bishop for knight. I'm also preventing queen a1 now. Time's about equal. Queen a5. Queen a5, then I have, queen a5 threatens e1 too. Probably rook c1 there. I was thinking rook a7. It's maybe playable, but rook c1 is probably safest. This queen d2 could be coming. Queen a3. Okay, so I have, this looks pretty simple, and then I just want to take the knight. And then probably simplify. Rook b1 too. Just tickling the queen. Looks promising, but I don't think it's completely winning yet. Nice time advantage. Queen h5. So I have queen e3. I think that's okay though. Oh no, I blundered. I logged queen a7. Okay, he misses it. That's good. King g2. Yeah, that's why board vision is so important. Have to remain non-flustered. Is this mating? It's so close to mate. Okay, this is mating. So I could have very easily lost that if he played queen a7. But I win the clash. Opponent has insufficient funds. 2-0. Okay, so I'm making up for everything in the chess phase. I'll exit. Alexa, set a timer for 2 minutes.
2 minutes, starting now.
Okay. Okay, so it's 2-0. I just need to win one more clash. We'll see if Raffael wants to accept or wants a longer break. Won't blame him if the break should be longer. Okay, we're starting. Good luck. Okay, looks like I'm live too, which is good. Okay, let's stay focused. I think I just fold, right? Yeah, if I'm small blind, I fold. My stream's coming through. Okay, beautiful. Okay. If I'm black, I'm big blind. So the fact that I won the first two clashes shouldn't affect anything in the play style. Another suboptimal hand. If he raises... He calls. Okay, so I check. I think this is a pretty routine approach. I get two queens. I mean, this is still a decent hand. I think I'll make like a pot bet. Actually, let's see what he wants to do. It's a very small bet. If he calls, and then I'm probably stronger than him. Wow, I get a third pawn because it was a demoted pawn. I'm probably checking. I don't know though. Wow. This is the same situation I was in before. I think I fold, right? What's it's 9. I have a below average hand. I have to fold. That was... Yeah, my bet after the fourth card was a mistake. I should have checked. Because there's high probability I was getting a pawn. Ah, not a great start. Okay. So this is where, like, if I have any good hand, I'm probably going to have to shove. I mean, let's shove. I have some fold equity, but okay. Okay, that's what I like to see. Ooh, that's what I like to see. Knight, 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 knight. Okay, that's okay. A knight would have promoted to another queen, because it would have been, what's it called? The palace. So this is a better than average hand. And because he called the all-in after 2 cards, statistically I should, in most cases, have a better hand, but we'll see. Always have to think worst case scenario. Moving very quickly. So I'm sticking with the same setup. It's worked in the past. He's playing safe. Place a queen. Place a queen here. It's my square. Very similar to last time. I'm trying to provoke something to be placed on b8. Might not be the case, but if he places something on b8, then I can place a bishop on a2. Places on c8. That's the best play. So if he has a queen, then it's equal. Okay. So I know he's going to be threatening rook c1. So my plan is to castle the first move. Is a queen, so it's equal. Yeah, let's just castle. Okay. Knight is probably better than bishop, because the pawns are clustered in one general area. Like, even though it's an open position, I'm not entirely sure. Going for the queen trade. Because rook plus bishop should still be better than rook plus knight. And it's really just equal. It's going to come down to time. As long as queen g6. King f8, bishop e3. I think that was a huge blunder by him. Because king d8, I had rook, eventual rook c1. Let's not get too confident. I do like my chances. Bishop h6 coming. Knight g7, still bishop h6. And yeah, like he can't even take on e2 because bishop h6 is forced mate. And there's no escape for the king. So e-pawn can't move. This is resignable. Okay, so this worked out. Oh, but I take and he's gonna play queen a7. Tricky. Oh, but I'm gonna have rook h1 in the end. So queen a7, king g2 takes g5, rook h1, and it should still be forced mate. Rook h1. Oh, he has queen. Oh, this is tricky. I should start with this. With queen d4. It's not over. Oh, queen d4, rook h7. And queen f6, I traded in rook h8. Okay. Long line. A simple line, though. It's just about being persistent with going as deep as possible. Yeah, so initially I saw queen d4, preventing rook h8. That's a free queen. No need to think. he saw this corner to this corner, but not this corner to this corner on board vision. So I'm the chip leader again. So this is nice. I've been winning like the equal positions. So I'm big blind. Okay. Ooh. Okay, so still a good hand. And the fact I got two queens, it's very unlikely he has a queen. Yeah, so he limps. I think I just shove him all in. He's pot committed, I believe. If he folds, then limping was a bad play. Okay. So this could be the last game. Very good hand. Average value 19. I only have one pawn, too. Oh, it's white moves first, okay. So I want to be safe because I'm black. Have to be careful. 2 pawns, that's good. Very good sign. I don't want to take any risk here. I want to keep the time advantage. Really no reason to think too much. So if he checks me on a square like a4 or h5, I guess possibly, then either knight can block. I guess bishop f7. Worst case scenario, he has a queen, and then I'm just up a piece. Up a piece for a pawn. We had the situation actually. Oh, he has a rook. Okay, beautiful. Okay, let's just stay focused. No need to celebrate. Just have to play good moves. Keep the time advantage. And pray for no disconnection. Have to be careful of the knights. I just want to simplify though. What's the best approach? Maybe queen f4? I mean, either simplify or just attack. Yeah, I guess I'm going for the attack. This knight actually has no squares. That's incredible. Oh, that's a move though. Good move. Play queen h6. I'll keep the pin. Knight's still restricted. It has to retreat, and then some knight to e5. I do knight g4. I do have less time, but I have plenty of time. I should keep the pace. And knight g4 is very hard to stop. Forgot about that move. I have queen f4 back. And rook h8 never hurts me. Knights are very clumsy, expecting knight gf1. And now this move. Allowing rook h4. You can be resourceful. Thanks for the bits. King e1, I probably... never mind. Yeah, so let's just simplify. I'm nervous. I shouldn't be nervous, though. Good position. Up on time. Play this move. I want to play queen a4 soon. Knight's attacked. Knight's very restricted too. Rook f3, I just take the knight with check. Thanks again for the bits.
Let's go, Eric. Yeehaw.
I thought I turned off the alert box. I guess not, though. Okay, I'm simplifying completely. Yeah, so the pawns work very well with the minor pieces.
Hi, Eric.
Just to
How
control
are you
squares.
doing?
I'm doing well,
Loving
thank
your
you.
YouTube thumbnails lately. Laughing face, keep up the great content.
Oh, thanks so much. I appreciate that. I'm gonna play f3. Always play f3. Just have to be careful not to stalemate. Okay. Now it's probably time to celebrate. So that was much, much closer than the first match. But I feel like I made most of the right decisions. Okay. So I should get ready for the interview. Okay, so what's going to happen? I'm just waiting to start the interview with International Master Malcolm Payne. He was doing commentary with professional poker player Jeff Gross on the Chess24 channel. So I assume maybe some people were watching both. Also, shout out to my opponent, Raffael. Was also doing commentary on his YouTube channel. He has probably, I would imagine, the biggest chess channel of Brazil, or biggest chess channel in Portuguese. So I'm not aware of any, actually not aware of any other Portuguese YouTubers that talk about chess. So if you speak Portuguese or want some content in Portuguese, check him out. I'm not the Magnus of Choker. If anyone's a Magnus of Choker, it's Hikaru. Or maybe Magnus. I don't know if Magnus plays poker. Or Choker. I feel like Magnus would be really good at this sort of game, though. Like understanding the odds. Oh, hello.
So I'm looking at myself. Shall I look at him rather? Yeah, I am doing. Okay, I can see Eric.
Hey, Malcolm, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Eric. Congratulations.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Yeah, that was... Okay.
Are we live? Or...
Not yet.
Okay, not yet. Got it. We're live on my Twitch channel, so I told people
okay,
they can...
So we're now live on the official Choker stream as well.
Okay, great.
So congratulations, Eric. Very, very smoothly done. I felt on the end in the chessboard, your superior tactical skill made its appearance.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it was definitely a lot tougher than my first match. I think my Raphael definitely understood some deeper like betting strategy.
Yes,
and
that was clear.
Yeah. And like my first match, I just got really good cards. Like the first kind of round of each clash, I was just getting amazing cards. Here there were a lot of hands that kind of had to fold and be patient for when I got something.
Yeah, we noticed there were a lot more folds in this match actually than any of the other matches we've seen. Certainly in your first match against Simon, he was all in most of the time, and we felt you exploited that really well. But there was a lot more finesse in this match, and you had to be patient sometimes, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, of course, I watched Raphael's first match, and I tried to get a sense of his kind of range with betting, and I mean he has a very similar range to me, where he like folds or limps with weak hands like pawn or pawn minor piece, and then just plays very aggressively with much higher value hands. So
yes,
I knew that going into this match, and I could kind of sense like if he was checking, then at the very least I shouldn't be worse.
Right. I also noticed a strategy that you use that no one else did. I think you're the first person to actually castle in the Joker Challenge Cup. So that was a real shock. In fact, I suddenly saw it, I thought, what happened there? Oh, it's castling. I remember about that.
Yeah, I was not aware of that when I first started playing, and then I think at some point I just wanted to experiment, see if it's possible. And I guess technically, like the king and the rook haven't moved yet because they're just on their starting squares. So
absolutely. I mean, they've sort of made it out of a pack of cards onto the board, but that doesn't constitute a chess move, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's like too often that it makes sense to castle, but when you want to play safe, then it's not a bad option to have.
Yeah, I mean, when you had the pawns on e2, f3, and g4, it looked like quite a good setup. So you kind of have the dark squared bishop swimming within the white squared pawn chain, and it's kind of like the white squares covered by the pawns, dark squared covered by the bishop, and felt fairly safe actually. It certainly worked out quite well.
Yeah, I was explaining that on my stream that you want to make sure your bishop harmonizes with the pawns well.
Yes, it's interesting that a bit of positional chess, what we call in chess good bishop and bad bishop, comes into play. That actually beginners in chess often think that you want to have a bishop that's the same colored, working on the same colored square as your pawns, because it can protect them. But actually, those pawns inhibit its mobility, right? So we prefer to have a bishop operating on an opposite color. What do you make of the setup at the beginning in Choker with two knights defending each other? How do you feel about that? That's made a lot of appearances, particularly when one side has less material at the beginning.
So you mean like superfluous knights, like just knights, or knights defending the king?
Yeah, knights. So say if you've got less material or you've got a fairly weak hand, you'll kind of put knights on d8 and f7 or something like that. That seems to be a strategy that quite a few people have used. Yeah,
definitely. I think I mean a knight next to the king is one of the best defensive mechanisms in open positions.
Yes,
and in endgames, especially when queens are on the board. And he used that. I think in one of the games we had a knight on f8, king on f7, and it was very hard for my queen to infiltrate.
That's right. Well, I think I was saying on our stream that Bent Larson once sent with a knight on f8, it can't be mate.
Right.
But that doesn't necessarily seem to be true in Choker all of the time, as you demonstrated. There was one game that seemed real interesting when I thought it was just going to come down to the clock because absolutely nothing was happening. And there it just seemed to me that the best kind of moves were just the moves, any move that you could play real quick. It was just the best move, really. It was quite weird.
Yeah, I think that was a game where I was just down like a minor piece for a pawn.
Exactly.
And then,
yes.
Yeah, the strategy is just to survive and not trade minor pieces, but trade pawns.
Yes.
And of course, towards the end, I wanted to keep at least one pawn on the board for sufficient mating material for the flag.
Indeed. I think actually he had a chance, didn't he, that when he was up a knight in one game and he should have just removed your two pawns when he was running out of time, and then he would have got a draw, I think, in one game, but he ended up losing on time, I think.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about, but I guess he made up for it the first game where
the fork.
I think he was
amazing.
Flagging and losing on the board, and he forked me and took my final piece.
No, that was impressive because the amazing thing. I mean, kudos to Raffael Santos, Mr. Chess in Brazil, because he doesn't actually have an official rating. I asked him before, I sent him a message of what is your official rating, because trying to find someone's FIDE rating when their name is Santos is a bit of a struggle.
That's true.
On the website, and I just wondered if he had a rating, but actually no, he doesn't have a chess rating at all. So actually, he's an immensely talented, I think, for someone who doesn't have
which is incredible. Rating. Yeah, I mean, I knew he's a strong player. Like he outplayed Anna Rudolph in the first round.
Yes.
And I did look him up on chess.com, and I think he's around like 2,300 in Blitz. So I knew it was definitely going to be a challenge.
Great. So, well, you're in the final. I guess because we know you're very methodical. You told us in advance in your pre-tournament interview that you prepare for every opponent. So I'm sure you'll be watching the next broadcast at the same time, next Thursday, the 11th of June. We've got Bill Perkins against Alexandra Botez. So International Master Eric Rosen, congratulations! You're in the Choker Challenge Cup final.
Thanks so very much. Yeah, looking forward to it. Okay. Take care.
All right, and a reminder to everyone: get involved with Choker. Download the game. It's free to play from the Apple Store or Google Play. Thanks very much, everyone.
Okay, I'm going to leave the call. I don't know if you can still hear me, but
I can. Sorry, we're off air.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, cool.
See you, Eric. Bye.
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 Okay. I think there's still a stream delay, but I'm going to let it. Actually, what's the best approach here? I'm gonna end the stream now and then send the raid once I do like the sign off. I have to get the timing down. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. I appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be posting the whole thing on YouTube at some point. And yeah, goodbye.